Defining a new era in men's health. No shortcuts, just results. Get stronger and healthier by putting your health back in order at Game Day Men's Health. We offer services like testosterone replacement therapy, peptide therapy, ED, medical weight loss, and vitamin therapy. We spaces designed for men. Privacy, comfort, flat screen TVs, and zero fluff. Our in-house lab nails down your testosterone levels in 15 minutes. Get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 615-420-2700 to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Nashville Fit for 10% discount off your first service. Start living your best life. Game Day Men's Health.
What is up, Nashville Fit fam? We are back with another episode of the Nashville Fit Magazine Podcast, brought to you by the Game Day Men's Health Studio, which we are not currently in. We are actually in Stretch Zone in Murfreesboro, which is a treat for us. And we are here with our good friend,
Aaron Hines.
What's up? We're going to talk to our friend Aaron Hines and, well, more so allow him to talk about Aaron Hines and what Aaron Hines is all about. But our title sponsor today is Stretch Zone. So thank you, Stretch Zone, for hosting us and for having us. And I am here with my friend Gerell. How are you doing, Gerell?
I was going to get an intro. I was going to sit here and, I'm doing well. So
I had to shake off the nerves.
Doing well. We
talk nervously for about 10
got our legs out today.
seconds.
You see all these legs over here, Sav?
Yeah,
you
see all these
crossed?
bruises?
Oh, that's because you've been getting kicked.
That's
most
right.
people don't, spend their days getting kicked by other people.
Fell on my bike today.
You fell?
Yeah.
Tell us about what happened.
I got a boo-boo.
You got a boo-boo?
Actually, my bike just fell apart while I was riding it today.
While you were riding it?
Yeah, I was bumping off of a curb to get around some construction, and the front wheel just came off.
Oh, shit.
And I'm not kidding. It just...
That's not funny.
Do you feel like someone set you up?
It kind of is, though.
I feel like someone said, that sounds like someone tried to get you, Sav.
No,
someone slit your brakes. Like
someone, of course I posted on Instagram, and somebody was like, oh, that's happened to me before. I was like, really? And they were like, yeah, it can happen if the bolt comes loose.
Right.
Like, if you don't check on that periodically, that just over time will come loose as you ride it. And I've been riding that thing since college.
And you never tightened that bolt?
No, I'm not a bike nerd. I don't know anything about bikes.
I
don't know.
Sounds like a tune-up was necessary.
Yeah, but if you see me ride my bike, I'm like the no helmet. Like, I'm just joyriding around. Like, I'm not actually doing anything competitive with it. I'm just having a nice summer day and
just
doing
nice
some
outside.
wheelies.
Yeah, doing some wheelies. I'm glad you weren't in the middle of a wheelie and your front wheel came off. That would have been horrible.
It was bound to happen, as reckless as I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're okay though.
I'm
a little bit of bruises.
I'm glad you're okay. You didn't hurt yourself
Survived,
for real.
live another day.
There we go. I would hate to have
hang
to
out with you, Gerell.
do a sad story on the podcast.
Yeah, that would be really
today,
sad.
Guys, we lost a good one.
On a bike. She died in the street on a bike.
You notice I'm the only one here today, and we have to do a special breaking podcast.
No, anyway. But before we get into talking about you, Aaron, I'm really excited to get in this conversation. Let's get into our basket of debate first. What do you say?
Let's get it.
Sweet. So brought to you by Defiance Fuel, which is water, but it's great water.
Go
it's the best water, actually.
Jump in there, yeah.
Jump in, head first. Let's go.
All right. Here we go. And let's make Aaron go first.
Okay.
Let's see how this goes. Let's see here. Ooh, this is a good one. Should gyms have designated areas for beginners?
No.
Yeah. I'll lose on that one, maybe.
No, you gotta be brave. That's like...
That's a tough... I mean, maybe not. Probably no.
Tell me why. Tell me why you think, because you're kind of in between. Tell me why you say maybe.
It's probably the population I work with. I work with the 55 and older population, and a lot of them have done... I feel like they've done a lot of things, and they may be, I'll say, re-beginning their exercise and fitness programming. So a lot of times for them, it's kind of intimidating. But, I like to have the beginners come in when there's not a lot of people for that. So that way they can feel a little bit more acclimated. So for what I do, yes, but for bigger gyms, nah, throw them in, baby. Get them in there quick. Because, that's only one way you're going to, I think, learn from that.
I agree
there's ways
with that.
you can you can, I don't say dumb it down, but regress a little bit for them. But for what I do, you know, for them, it's, I think, just had somebody last week, is like super intimidating for them to walk in, and you know, my gym's not very huge, but it's just like the intimidation factor of like, there's 5 other people who have been here for 3 years, and it's my first day, and I'm freaked out. So they're a little hesitant to talk. They don't talk the whole hour. It's super awkward, and I want to make them feel a bit more comfortable. So I'll have them come in an off hour to get them started on day 1 for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
I can assume, but
it's a no for me, and for multiple reasons. I think the faster you get acclimated, the more confident you are in working out on your own. I think once you realize that you're not in competition with anyone in the gym, then you can kind of relax, and this is enough for me and what I'm doing. But I can also use someone, I'll just use Sav as an example. I can watch Sav and say, yo, what she's doing is dope. I would love to. I didn't even know you could do that. I've never seen that
That's a
before.
good point. Yeah.
So I think you find inspiration. And I think, you know, the more you go to the gym, the more you're surrounded by people that are like-minded, and I think that's what matters the most. The intimidation comes from thinking that everybody's watching you.
I agree.
Or everybody's judging you when literally nobody probably is.
Yeah, they're in there for their own goals.
Yeah, everybody's going through their own thing,
Yeah.
and we don't have the same goals. Or maybe we do, but now you're inspiring me because that's my next level. Okay, I'm here. It's like I come from an athletic background, and so going to college as a freshman, you work out with everybody. Like, so the seniors who've been in the program for 4 years, you see what the program does. Like, oh, if I stay for 4 years and I work hard, that's what I'll look like. Cool, that's when I'm coming. That's what I'm goaling for. And not just that, but those seniors, they may be jerks, you know, sometimes, but they'll show you how to do, like, maybe watch me. Like, I'm not gonna tell you, but watch me. Like, you see me doing it. So watch the people around you, and that's how you grow. You grow by stretching.
Typically, the fitter or more like experienced somebody is, the less likely it is that they're going to judge you. Like, I feel like the more experienced,
the more they're gonna help
people,
you.
the more they want you to be in the gym as a beginner and want you to come, like, you know, be influenced by them or like be in the same space as them. I feel like people who are judging each other or judging other people in the gym also like struggle with that insecurity, and like that's just their way of handling their own insecurity about being uncomfortable there. But at the end of the day, like I've been uncomfortable in a especially a crowded gym, and
That's because it was crowded, not because of what people were just like. So many people in here. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, you know, kind of an introvert, but I still like, I'm like, okay, no, I belong here like anybody else, you know, and I tell other people that too. Like everybody is allowed to be in the gym. It's not designated for a certain type or level of fitness. You know, if there's a beginner space in the gym, I'm also trying to think about this like from a beginner's perspective. And I don't know that a beginner would want their own designated area of the gym anyways, because then everybody's like, oh, now we know that you're a beginner.
It's like you're getting looked at, you're excluded, you're not.
Now you definitely stand out, you know?
And then
like,
when do you leave the beginner part of the gym?
Exactly. Like who gets to say that? And
there's no, you know what I mean? There's no like graduation day.
Yeah.
But I always tell people we all have a day one. Right now, how many day ones you have is up to you, but we've all been where you are, or we're trying to get to where you are. You know what I mean? So we're all on our own journey. So don't get caught up in all of that.
Exactly.
Mine is a little reverse. Like I usually have clients who are intimidated by me and not by necessarily the gyms. Like I've been watching you on Instagram and I was just like, I don't want to do these things. It's like, you're not going to do what I'm doing. Like there's no.
Instagram is so like far off. Like I actually am working on a post right now that's like kind of reeling back to be a little bit more educational on like one movement, and it takes a lot of like work to like put it into an Instagram post, and like most of what I'm posting is just like, oh, here's a workout that I do, you know. It's like, yes, I do that, but it's like a very small fraction of what like trainers, athletes, everybody you see on Instagram is actually doing with their clients, with themselves. And there's only so much we can put in these little squares, you know, like, so it's like, I try to put out good stuff, but I also try to be real about like, hey, like, this is where I'm at. And like, if you're looking at that, like, oh, I hope Sav doesn't do that with me. It's like, Why would you assume that I'm going to just
Let
me throw you under a barbell with 200 pounds on it?
You know? I said, hey, do these plyo pull-ups.
So I'll retract my answer.
I don't think I can do that.
It's okay.
No.
It's okay. You want me to go?
You go.
Is it better to work out alone or in a group?
Man.
For me, alone. Yeah. I was going to see.
It just depends on what I'm trying to go for.
I know. I see, guys. Was this my camera, Trent? I'm really not a jerk. Okay. I'm very extroverted, and so my workout time is my me time. So I want to be alone.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I don't want to talk it's cool every now and then, but if I have a preference, I'm going to work out by myself.
What about you, Aaron?
I work out by myself. I go to restaurants by myself. There's a lot of
Yep. Go on dates by myself.
I'm good. I'm
Mr. Alone all the time.
No, it's just it's like you said, it's your time to get away. Like, I want to break away. I want to not be bothered. But even though, I own a gym, but I work out at the Y. And people are like, dude, you're crazy. Why do you work out at the Y? It's like, well, I want to get away from all the people in my 10-mile radius.
Work and
I want
play.
to work out. But then when I go to the Y, I see all the people I know. So I'm I can't escape. But if I were to choose it, for what I do now, I work out by myself. If it were, in college we had teammates, and it was great because you pushed you a little bit more. But now I'm more intrinsically motivated from what I do, from where I'm at as far as training. So for me, it's probably by myself.
I think that's a really good point to make, is that the more that you train and the more you know how to train yourself, the more intrinsically motivated you are to okay. And then it's almost fun, you're playing and then you're ooh, I want to try this. Ooh, I want to work on this today. I want to definitely attack this today. It's much easier to think about that and do that alone. And I was going to say my answer is, for the most part, I like to work out by myself and I like to, have that time and space. But depending on the day or the mood I'm in, I might need that group fitness camaraderie kind of feeling, just to get me motivated, because some days I'm not motivated. And it's an easy way, I work at a gym where I teach the classes. It's not as easy for every trainer to do that, but I do get the appeal of people who really love group fitness, because it's okay, it's just hard to get there sometimes. And if you're going through a phase in your life where you're just unmotivated, but you need to work out, sometimes it comes in handy. But I do think it's really important to know how to spend that time by yourself in general, but especially training yourself,
Yeah. I'm not a loner, just make that straight. But I think for me, I've been in business for, year 8, but that's kind of sometimes where you feel like that's your creative space. That's the way you can kind of break away and think about other things.
Yes.
So for me, that's maybe I'm thinking about, maybe it's another idea I have, or, somebody I can connect with. So for me, being in a group, I'm just more worried about trying to get done.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I was as a college athlete. It's man, is this hour ever going to be over? Because there's 45 people in the gym and I need to be done. So for me, I can see the motivational side of that too, where I've done outside of my comfort zone, being in a CrossFit type setting, and I'm dude, this is not me, never will be. But I was I compare myself to this 55, 6-year-old dude who's beast mode, and I'm over here out of breath, and I'm he is not going to beat me today. So I think some of that too, just depending on where you are, what stage you are as far as training, what you want to accomplish. I think, there's both sides of that, right?
Yeah.
The better workout is with other people, I think.
I agree.
The push is different, right? So if we start working out together, we're going to play off of that. Oh, he's adding 10. I'm going to, okay, well, let me see. If he's stronger, then I'm going to say, okay, well, let me see if I can go 3 with 10. Well, it's just that natural.
Sure.
The
push.
And the pace.
Right.
I can get on my phone, I can play around, but if I'm working with someone, then the pace is going to be different. To your point, in college athletics, you have 40 people in there. It's a very structured environment. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be going, when they're supposed to be getting there, and it's all about pace. Get in, get out, take your ass to class. All right? Right?
Facts.
Next group, get in and get out, right? Right, so it's very structured. So it's not even the workout that's hard; it's the pace that's hard, right?
Yeah.
We can go back and do those same workouts, but it's because the coaches are pushing the pace so hard.
Yeah.
It's all right, and now no recovery is all right, just did this, and now I'll go up 10 pounds. All right, well,
I think that's why
it's different.
I have said this multiple times out loud. I'm terrible at group fitness. I'm really bad at it because I always go too heavy. Because a group fitness class, you're typically station to station. There's a certain amount of time. There's a pace that you're working with, and I'm I'm going to do the really heavy one. And then I'm like, I regret it.
Yeah,
and now we're out of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I think I definitely prefer alone. But yeah, if I'm looking for just a mood booster and to move my body a little bit, like, and maybe a push on pace. Because, you know, sometimes I'm like, cat videos for 10. Oh, I need to get to my next set.
30 minutes later, I haven't even warmed up yet. Yeah.
Right. All right. So the last one is, it's wrapped around my finger because I don't know what to do with my hands. Is it better to focus on functional fitness or aesthetic goals? You're killing me with these.
Oh. I feel like this is personal. They're trying to get us to argue. They're trying to come between us.
Yeah, they're trying to make like one better than the other.
I know what they're doing here. They're playing on us.
Yeah, they really
they're
are.
Playing on. Okay.
Can you say both? Maybe.
Yeah, I think both is okay.
You gotta pick one. You gotta. It's either or.
Like, what even is functional fitness, though?
Yeah, let's give a
There's
better
such an
definition
argument
of
over
that,
that worldwide right now.
Functional for you may not be functional.
Exactly.
Whatever's functional for you. I think that's a personal, like, functionality is personal for all of us.
We'll go with that definition of it then.
Yeah, that's tough. I say functional when I was in my 20s. It's not so functional now. I'm beaten up. I've got tons of injuries, but for functional for me, it's more spending more time on mobility, flexibility, even though I hate it. But that's why I spend more time with acupuncture, physical therapist, and anybody else can make me feel better. So for me, I think it's more functional now. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of where functional for me is, you know, if I can wake up and my feet not hurt like they've been smashed by hammers because I've been on my feet for 16 hours training, or if I can, you know, do some good thoracic rotation without my back going out, which earlier this year I threw my back out at least, I swear, 5 times in a matter of 3 months.
Ouch.
And it was on like the lightest of the lightest weights. It's because everything was so dysfunctional, from movement to mobility to everything. So it just completely had me out of whack. So I've been focused on more of that functional side of it, where I can move better, feel better, and wake up, train all day, go home, work out, do whatever I need to, and not be in so much pain and discomfort.
I think pain is the key word for me.
Yeah.
Because I've had a lot of pain through fitness and not through fitness. And I think functional fitness to me is like, like the more I can mitigate that pain, because I don't have that pain anymore. And I think that's functional for me. To me, I define how I train like as functional. I don't really define it as functional. I don't really, like, I don't know how to, because like so many different people have different definitions of it. So I just kind of like don't use that word. I just call it training.
What is a better word for that? That's what I like.
Let me ask this question. What are you training for?
To like feel good and feel like not just like I don't have pain, but to feel strong and like I can show up in the world like I have energy all day, not just part of the day, and like longevity.
That's functionality.
Yeah, right.
That's
so
functionality. So you're not training for.
But then you have people who are like, well, CrossFit is functional because I like it, and I'm like, okay. So that's why I don't define it, because it's different for everyone.
Well, I'm saying, like, when you go, like, your intent behind training is what? Like, when you're about to work out, is it so that you look better, or is it so that you move better? I also like to look good.
That's the thing, is, like, I don't like saying that aesthetic is bad.
That's a bonus, I think.
So we're weighing the two. Which one are you weighing? Which one weighs more?
Well, if I'm going to focus on something more, it's going to be the functional fitness, because when I was focused on aesthetic, which was the beginning of my fitness journey, I got hurt and I got sick, and that did not work out well for me. So when I was like, okay, I just want to function well and not have pain, because this hurts, and I don't want to hurt anymore.
So you say functional fitness. How you, in your definition of it, you would say the same?
Yeah, I think like aesthetic, like the way you look and the way you feel is kind of a, let's say, I don't know, a bonus from like how you're training.
It really is a bonus, though. It does come with it if you're working with your body.
Yeah,
I'm not against it.
I'm not going to be that. I'll say never. I'm almost 40. I'm not going to be that guy with a six-pack. And I was like, I look good, feel good. And
do you ever want a six-pack?
You know, there's hopes and dreams. You know, you know. But I was like, it's like I've had things in the past that I don't. It's maybe possible, just from like different surgeries I've had. But like for me, like I am in probably, I don't say better shape. I've had injuries and surgeries due to the things that, as you said, competing in a group or competing with somebody, and I blew my elbow out trying to bench press 365 pounds. I mean, that was safe. But I think from those things, like I feel better now, post athletics, because I've done other things to not so much worried about how much weight I can lift. Or, you know, I can eat what I want to an extent, but I can also work out and do other things, you know, feeling sore, you know, getting your heart rate up. Those are always a bonus benefit. But for me, I mean, I don't know. I feel good.
I'll say it depends on what time of year it is.
Well, I just think it's, right? I don't like when people like do this, like put one against the other, because like I'd be lying if I said it didn't matter to me what I look like.
Yeah.
And if I didn't train with that in mind.
Yeah.
I'd be lying. If you look at me, you would know I'm lying. Like, it's a thing. And so I'm going to be authentic and say that matters, but is it what my intention is, like my main focus? No. And it's okay if it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge you.
Yeah, thanks, Sav. I appreciate.
You're welcome, because I know it matters so much to you.
This is safe space.
To your point of six-pack abs, I mean, that's great, but like,
a lot of people have that now, too.
Not that bad?
Not yet anyway. I feel like, I'm like 230, let's be real, 6 foot-ish. Well, 6'1" maybe at one time. 228. My whole goal now is like, I'm trying to lose weight. I was at one time like 270 pounds from the ebbs and flows of stress and life and things like that. Now my goal is to be like, I want to look fit. So when people walk in, they're like, all right, this dude knows what he's talking about.
So you're training for aesthetics?
Yeah, but
you don't want to. No. We backed him in the corner here, baby. You didn't want to be that guy.
And that's okay.
It's okay.
But it's
that's
like,
okay.
I want to, like, when people, I'll say people, prospects come into the facility and they're like, oh, this, you know, they might not know anything about me, but getting to talk to them and getting to know them more, they're like, all right, this guy maybe knows what he's talking about. So you kind of buy their trust a little bit. So if for me, for the clientele I work with, I'm happy if you're a strong man. I don't care. That's to each their own, but that's not me and who I want to serve. But if I'm that guy, big dude doing tire flips and, yoke, whatever, carries and bench pressing 400 pounds and wearing tight shirts, I mean, that's probably going to deter.
Sheesh. This got personal all of a sudden. No,
I'm not going to wear.
What are you talking about, tight shirts?
Here we go. Let's listen to this out. But it's like, it's not going to attract the type of clientele I want. So for me, it's like, if I don't say look a certain way. I usually have, my beard's usually like 3 times the length it is now. But it will deter. I was going to
say your logo says differently than what
says different, yes. But it'll deter, and I've had, like you said before, I think when we started, intimidation factor on just the people I want to serve. I don't want to be intimidating. I'm a pretty nice guy. I can talk to anybody, relate to anybody, but I want to look a certain way because that reflects who I am and what I'm about.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, certain haircut, certain beard length, or certain weight, although that's probably helpful. But, things happen, life happens, and, like I said, I've been 270, I've been 200 pounds, so we're kind of in the fine line of like, I feel good, look good, and I hope I'm healthy. That's the goal, right?
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, it's like who you are to your clients and as a person, is the most important thing. But like, people like to look and feel good, and that helps you be a better person. I can't lie. Like, you
got to pump your own, self-ego.
And your body is a reflection of like how you take care of yourself. If you let yourself go and you like aren't taking care of yourself, you eat a lot, you don't exercise, you don't care, blame everyone else for your problems. Like, I'm not saying everyone does that, but
you can be working out. You can be working out without that intent.
True.
Like, I think aesthetics, like I tell people all the time, well, what are we training for? We're, like, when I'm training for performance, that don't have anything to do with how you look. That's a byproduct. Do you care about how much you weigh, or do you care about how you look? Are we chasing a number on the scale, or are we chasing a certain aesthetic? All those things are different.
Yeah.
Are different things. And so I think the question is, like, when you train, like when I train, like right now I'm training, I'm lean, I'm cutting right now. And that is strictly aesthetics. That has nothing to do.
Are you running?
I do run, yeah.
Oh, I
don't. So that's strictly right now. I'm in a cut. That's strictly it's about to be hot outside, and I want to be lean. In the wintertime, it's more performance training. So that's about functionality, right? Mm-hmm. So that's about how I actually perform,
right.
What my capabilities are. When you go into a cut, you're actually weaker than what you are like when you're training for performance. And so depending on when you catch me, I'm both of those guys. I'm the guy in the gym benching 400 pounds, or I'm the guy, you know, doing 50 push-ups and looking in the mirror right after to see if my pump is there.
Right.
Flexing.
Right.
You're like, yeah,
Sure.
that's fair. It's working.
Yeah.
It's working.
so it just depends. So we want to get into more of your story. Of course, I'm interested, obviously, in the football side of it. And then I also found out that you went to grad school in Tallahassee.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
I'm going to put my microphone down.
Quick.
Jump on my mic. It has nothing to do with me anymore.
Sorry,
No, I love it. It's good. It's good.
Quick bromance over here.
Yep.
No.
Yep. When football is mentioned, I just know to take about 10 minutes of silence.
Let's dive into. I like to ask people how they got into fitness. So I'm assuming like your start was in athletics.
Yeah.
So let's tell us a little bit about that.
Let's rewind about, I don't know, 20 or so years. So I went to high school in Kingston Springs. So if you're going 30 miles west
That's
or so.
That's in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's there.
I lived there. I grew up there, like ish.
Kind of.
I lived there when I was like 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's not grow up there.
No, but
Sadly, I grew up there. I was there when I was 2.
there for 2.
I have like fond memories there.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I mean, that's a good,
I just haven't heard that in a while.
It's a good spot.
It
So
is.
it's not Kingsport, it's Kingston Springs. My family moved back here in 1999, so it was basically be closer to family. And I was a scrawny, 60-pound dude freshman year. Wrestled. My mom thought I had an eating disorder because I was like 6 foot. Wore like a large shirt and was in like a size 30 pants, and just a stream bean for what most people would say for that. But we had, I won't say a rule, but it was more of a understanding that if you didn't play sports, you were going to be in the band or you're going to be in arts or something. You weren't going to sit around the house. Both my parents were teachers. You just didn't play those games for that. So I chose sports. I chose band one time and I never went back. And no offense to anybody who's in the band, you guys are talented people. It just wasn't for me for that. So it was probably
You get
my
picked on in
sophomore.
band. Or at least.
I played. Take that back. I played the trombone, and my brothers played the trumpet and the saxophone. So it was terrible situation for practice. But,
Yeah, band is hard.
It was bad.
I was in
with
band.
that. So there was a guy a kid on the football team who's I met through. I guess he was a freshman. I was probably I think rising junior, and I'd always gone to the weight room thinking that like, I can't lift the bar, man. This is not for me. Sports and athletics it's ingrained in me. My dad was a coach. He played football. He played baseball. He was an umpire. He did all the things. And I was like, I got to do something. So my best friend tried to get me to work out, and I was like, dude, this is the worst thing I could ever do in my life. I do not want to work out with you, because you worked out with a guy who went on to play football at Vanderbilt. And dude was huge. I was so embarrassed to walk in the gym and do like the bar, and this dude's doing overhead pressing 225. I'm like, there's no way I can compete with him. So I met this guy named Wayne Collier, who was a bodybuilder back in the probably 80s. And he kind of challenged me. He said, hey, I'll take you under my wing. We'll work out. So we ended up working out, actually, Gold's Gym in Bellevue. I don't know if you guys are.
Oh, yeah. You used to have a membership there.
Gold's Gym has been like 18 different things over the years, but that's where we worked out, man. I gained weight probably my senior year. I went from like 170, 180 to 200, 205. I got the all region, whatever awards, and I had no ambition or goal to play college sports. Just so happened that a small school out of West Tennessee called Lambeth University, their coach, came to school when I was on a field trip and said, hey, I want to talk to this guy. I want to see what he's about. And so I actually took a college visit with my best friend. I'd never heard of the school, never knew where it was, and we drove up there, went to orientation or just a visit-wise, and I was like, why not? Why don't we do that? So ever since then, working out in college, from sports, athletics, to basically quitting, transferring schools. I still worked out from 06 when I transferred to UT Martin. I was Skyhawk for 3 years. Didn't play sports, so I talked myself out of it. just kind of regret that a little bit, but it's okay. I had all the classes with all the guys in the sports teams and the girls, volleyball, whatever, so we all kind of, I lived vicariously through them. But from then all the way up until, current situation, man, everything was pretty much workout, whether it was in shape, out of shape, ebbs and flows of life, I still worked out. So whether that was heavy lifting, cardio only, so I'd say from then, that's kind of where I started. I went to grad school in Tallahassee because I graduated in 2009 from UT Martin thinking I was going to conquer the world, and I think that's when we had kind of a housing crisis and the economy kind of bit the dust, and so I found myself working for my father-in-law at a grocery store. So what that taught me is you can do anything for a little bit for that. So working in the grocery business, I learned, what not to do as far as running a business, because it was his business, not my business, and I thought it was my business because it was my soon-to-be father-in-law. So I was, going to tell him how I was going to run the store and run my department and things like that. And he was like, "Nah, this is not going to work." So I left after.
Well, you got fired by your father-in-law?
No, I didn't get fired.
Oh man, I was like,
a couple of my friends did, and we won't name names, but they just weren't up for the challenge.
We're up for the challenge.
For that, but he's a super nice
reminds
guy.
me of working for Steak and Shake. That was a challenge.
He'll give anybody an opportunity. So I was like, I don't want to be in the family business, potential family business, for longer than I was. So I went to grad school at Florida State. I literally applied. I applied to MTSU halfway, TSU halfway, halfway. I did half the application, never paid for it because I was like, I don't want to go here. All my friends from high school went here. Not going to happen. So I completed the application at Florida State on, I don't know, it was probably September of 2010. And I went to Bobby Bowden's last home game. They played Maryland Terrapins. I bought tickets on eBay and drove down there. And I was in the Student Life Center, or the store. You've been on campus
many times.
Bill Campbell, right there in the fan zone area. My mom calls me and she's like, "Dude, you'll never guess what just came in the mail." And I'm like, I had no idea. She goes, "You got your acceptance letter to Florida State University." And I was like, man, what a perfect place, perfect timing for that. So I literally knew no one. I went home after the game, decided to go visit. I had to talk to one of my professors that Christmas. So I drove over there with my mom. I think it was Christmas break because my brother lived in Jacksonville at the time. And that January, I loaded up my two-door Honda Civic, dude, packed to the brim, just whatever I could find. And I drove down to Tallahassee, Florida, and I knew nobody. So the story for that was I met people, and I think that's why I don't say I've been so successful, but I don't meet a stranger, and there's people that I can meet or talk to. That's kind of how I made my, I'll say way, but I met people that we had like interests, go to the games with, hang out with, because I'm in grad school and I hung out with a lot of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, because that's kind of who I connected with. So I lived on campus, I worked at a local gym, kind of paid my way, lived off student loans like most.
Which gym did you work at?
Do you remember? It was called, I knew you would ask me this. It was on Monroe Street next to the Tallahassee Mall, and it was called...
Is that the U-Fit?
No, there is a U-Fit there.
Yeah.
Planet Fitness.
Huh? What'd you say?
Planet Fitness.
No.
Planet Fitness down the street.
So this is kind of I don't say interesting story. I had no background. I wasn't even certified. I went down there hoping and dreaming to make it big. Tallahassee, Florida. I'm going to get this big job. I'm going to live down there. And I went to this gym, and I met with the GM. His name was Vince Graham. He's since passed, but he said, "Dude, I will give you a shot even though you're not certified because I know you know what you're doing." And I give that dude all the credit for me starting kind of training because I get all the special cases for, I don't say people that no one wanted to work with, but that was my specialty. That's what I wanted to work with. And so I trained through then. That was 4 o'clock in the mornings when I had to be there, had to open up. And dude, talking about bad. I ran out of gas almost on the way to work at 4 a.m. I overslept, and dude gave me so many chances to make it right. And so that's kind of how I got my start training people. I graduated in a year and a half because I was I've got to get out of here quickly because the longer I stay, the more money I'm going to accrue, the more money I'm going to spend being down here for that. So I moved back. I got married in that time. My wife and I moved back in 2011, and I was back at the grocery store. So I did not get fired. My father-in-law brought me back to the store because I needed somewhere to work, and then I ended up working downtown Nashville at the YMCA for that, selling gym memberships. So I think that's kind of how maybe most people's stories get started, or maybe they fall into things, but that's how I got started at the Y. I started selling memberships. I started, after that, I was doing boot camp classes. I got certified during that time, and then I started training for that. And I just knew that corporate gym setting, for me, I get bored pretty easily. So after, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I thank them for their generosity for bringing me on, and I feel like I did what I could. And so I ended up doing that still a little bit, but I went out to Cool Springs, and I was a health coach for 3 years at a company called Healthways. Who hasn't been a health coach? I feel like everybody I do used to work there or had some connection. And that was actually it was different. It was corporate, working with corporate wellness. I thought that's what I wanted to do, and I sure found out that's not what I wanted to do. So I did boot camp classes there, taught those, took them. So that group aspect of kettlebell classes, Taibo, I don't know what we took, but I jumped in, they got all this stuff. That's a throwback.
The Y has so many, and then they'll be like, okay, you're a trainer, you can teach Taekwondo, right?
Yeah, I was like, sign me up. What do we do? Yeah. So so to bring it all kind of where we are now. I worked after that. I feel like I bounced around, but I'm old, so I've had a lot of experience in a lot of different areas for that. And I worked at one of the larger orthopedic clinics in Williamson County doing their pre and post-op training. So coming from grad school, you think you've got it all made. You've got a graduate degree. People are going to hire you. You're going to make a ton of money. I didn't do that. I didn't make a lot of money. I just did a lot of things to make a lot of money, 3 different part-time jobs. And so from there, I worked doing pre and post-op rehab training. So from the injury aspect to ACL, MCL, cervical fusions, you name it, I've probably seen it. So, fast forward then, things didn't work out, and that's kind of how I started Premier Performance Training. I've rebranded once for that, but that's kind of what we specialize in. We, as in the brand, working with 55 and older, making sure that those individuals are moving better, feeling better, and living life pain-free. For that. So
what made you go into the 55 plus community? Why? Because I imagine when you went to the Y and everything, and when you were at Healthways, what is it called? You probably had a wide demographic of people. What made you narrow it down to 55 and older?
So I started doing I think what most was I'm going to train anybody, and everybody's going to be a great fit. Well, I got highly annoyed with a 20 to don't be offended if you're in the age range, the 20 to 30-year-old, and I was there, just inconsistent with.
I'm about to be 31, so you're safe.
I'm not getting enough results, or this is boring, or I really want to do this, and I tried to make it to a point you're just not your body's not physically capable for that. So I think I had the frustration boiled over to these people would jump ship to, they would go to this gym, that gym, and there was no consistency with it. So when they came to me, they're like, well, I've been here, I've been there. And I was like, well, you've been everywhere in town except for Premier Performance, so let me help you for that. So that's where that frustration with those individuals, I was like, I can't do it. So I was thinking about, my parents are 60, mid-60s, and these are the people, in my opinion, who value health and fitness. They're consistent, they show up, they complain a lot, but they complain in a way that's fun and hey, I don't really want to do that today, but they know they should. And so for me, that was where I kind of found the gold mine in a way of these people love me, they love what I do, and they keep coming back, and they're super consistent.
Would you say that, because I have an assumption, but I don't want to assume for obviously everyone, because it's different for everyone, but would you say that for the most part, 55 and older clients find more value in training and personal training? than like the younger, like 20 to 30-year-olds?
Yes, and I'll say this: I think my 50 and older population are not as active on social media.
Sure, yeah.
So they're not comparing themselves to the 25-year-old who maybe has, the finest pair of glutes they've ever seen,
Right.
or six-pack abs or whatnot. So they're going to be more, they value more of like their capability,
Right.
For that. So I don't say they're not comparing themselves to a lot of other people, because
Right.
they've beaten and battered. Like a group I had on Monday, like we've got double knee replacements. We've got a lady who was at the gym, the Y, she was using a machine and she partially tore her adductor.
Ouch.
So she's coming from a referral. You've got, 50 who used to do, I won't say strongman competitions, but she did a lot of powerlifting at a gym she was at, and like it just wrecked her body. And she's like, I don't have no desire to do that ever again. And then you've got the grandmother who used to be in a wheelchair, and now has lost 50 pounds and is like this vibrant, totally changed person. So you've got a mix of everybody, but they like coming in. They like that community of people who are in that same age bracket. But they can also, I think they find more community for that, because if I have 20, 30-year-old and there's a
Right.
60, 70, they're like, yeah, we're just going to keep him over here because he's doing...
And that's natural, yeah.
He's doing like 275 on deadlift, and I'm not going to do that. And that's
Right.
intimidating.
Right. Yeah, I asked just because like the older that I get, and I've been working out, like training myself since I was like 18 maybe. So like I wasn't really hard in the paint with training, like didn't grow up an athlete like Gerell, but like I still really feel like in the beginning of my career with fitness, like it was all new and it was all exciting. And then the older I get, the more important it becomes to me to like ask for help when I need it, and know that I'm not like, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, but like I value my joints. I value, my connective tissue being healthy and strong, and that's partially because I'm educated on it. But like the longer and older I get, I don't want to feel like an old person sooner than I have to, So it's like I'm more mindful, I guess, of like what other trainers are doing and how they can help me, other health professionals in general. And I just think like I value that one-on-one attention, I think, more with time, and experience.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think they value what I bring to the table. It's probably not anything different what most people are doing. It's just the way I present it, maybe package it. So they're not so concerned about how much weight they can lift. Some are, some will bust my chops. Hey man, we need to go up on some stuff. And I'm like, look, that's cool. Like I can't read your mind. Like I know that you're 70 or 75 and you want to be strong and fit and do the things you want to do, but like you need to tell me and respond in a way like, if it's light, tell me, because we can go up. Because the stronger you are, the more mobile you are, the better off you're going to be.
Right.
And I think sometimes of that age range that sometimes it's like, I don't know, I don't think I should go up, because if I go up, then maybe it's going to be too hard or too difficult. I've got a 7-year-old lady doing 20-pound bench press, dumbbells. I mean, that's a lot for some. And you look at some, are like, I think that would break my arm off because it's so heavy. So you've got a mixed bag, but I think they value it a lot more. But they also appreciate the fact that you care. You care how they move, how they function, and you want to see them get better. Just with any other trainer. I mean, you want to value your client's success, but it comes probably a little bit differently from what I bring to the table.
Right on.
Yeah, before we continue, we got to take a quick break. Hey guys, we are back, and so I think I want to touch on the point that we left off at is, how do you manage you're 75, I don't know what you should do or what you shouldn't do, versus you're 75, I know exactly what you can do, and you're strong, like, because we have this with the 20, 30, 40-year-olds, like, no, you're stronger than you think you are. I'm not going to let you use the fact that you're 75 as an excuse, because as a trainer, I'm a professional. I know where you are. I know what you can do. So how do you manage even the mindset in that?
I think I always start probably lighter or less, because I don't want the expectations to be, or the I'll say the expectations, but more or less the mindset of the client going like, I knew I couldn't do that. So for me, it's always like, we're going to assess.
Let's stack a win. Like, let's get a win
let's get
first.
a little small win to get your boost of confidence before I just start stacking a bunch of weight on you. And they're like, man, I told you I couldn't do that. Well, I didn't know. So I would say I always assess before we kind of address any issues. We're going to assess first. We're going to address what your movement patterns, what you have, and then we're going to load you if we need to. Not everybody, I'm going to just put a bunch of weight in their hand and move, because not everybody can move efficiently like they think they can. I know there's a lot of people that say, I can squat to the bench, it's easy. And when they squat to it, like they're bending over,
they're laying down,
or their butt doesn't touch for that. So, like you said, we're going to stack a small win. I'm going to encourage them. I'm going to share that win with them. Like, you're a lot better than you think you are, and I think we can do a little bit more. And then sometimes that's like all you need, the spark they need to be like, you know what, I can do a little bit more. Thank you for like pointing that out. And so we can advance that a little bit more. It doesn't have to be necessarily on a squat. It could be like a dumbbell bench press, or it could be a heavier farmer's walk, or maybe it's actually getting them on the floor and doing some movement work. Because I have some that was specifically, do not ever put me on the floor because I will not come back. And I'm like, oh, that's a tough one to come back from. But it's just that they're not comfortable getting up and down off the floor.
That's probably exactly what I would train them to do.
Yeah, I was like, that would be day one for me, because I'm a jerk.
All right, we're going to learn how to get down on the floor and back up. Yep, that is so important.
I think it's just their confidence level, because they know like when they're on the floor, it's like they're huffing and puffing, and they're scratching at the couch or the chair, and the chair falls over, and then they're like, well, I told you I couldn't get up and down off the...
Well, I think that brings us back to the original question of training for functional versus training for aesthetics. And I think that's where your frustration was with the 20, 30-year-olds. It's like, this is all about, I want to get my booty bigger. And you're like, yeah, that's cool, but you can't even squat yet. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how to do a squat. And all you want to do is hip thrust every day, all day. That's not what we come here for.
I agree. I deal with that with my athletic side of it.
Female clients.
For the sports performance side.
We're
so like, that's
right?
like the minimal. I say minimal. That's the other part I do. So it's like, how many times can we bench press and squat, and you've already maxed out? So a lot of the athletic side of it is like they're all worried about how much they can bench, deadlift, and squat. And I agree with that. Like, I've been there, and it's always like, hey man, what'd you bench today? It's like, dude, you maxed out like last week. We're not doing that. So if you would just follow the plan and do as I say, you're probably going to be set up for success. So I think you see it from a little bit different perspective from those like 15, 16, 17, even my college guys coming through. It's more about, how they look, how much bicep tone they have or whatever, but I'm like, for my 55 and over, as long as they're seeing a muscle, dude, they're pumped.
Yeah.
That triceps popping.
One of my
honestly,
my college strength and conditioning coaches told me, because I went back and kind of like just interned, just watched them. He was like, you have to throw some aesthetics in there. It's like, we're not training for aesthetics. Like when we trained for football, we didn't do curls and stuff like that. So when people ask me, like, how'd you get your arms? Like, it's like, I don't know, honestly, bro. They just showed up one day. Like, one day, my arms, and I promise you, I never, I didn't never focused on that. But he would tell us, like you have to, because when you're training for performance, you don't get a pump. There's no such thing as a pump. Yeah. This is a max out. This is a max ability type of situation versus, repping to get a pump. So we never left with a pump unless it was a finisher on purpose.
Have you ever accidentally had a pump, though?
Say again?
Have you ever accidentally had a pump training like performance? Because I have. And it's a nice little
If I have, it probably wasn't something that I would notice, probably because I'm too tired, I'm dying on the inside.
Gotcha, yeah.
Or like I said, it's something to where like he added it, or they added it as like a finisher at the end. All right, guys, at the end, max out on, do an M-wrap of curls and dips. Yeah. And you know what I mean? Something like that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, now my arm, even though today wasn't arms at all, it was like all hand cleans and stuff like that. You're like, but he knows, like, in order to keep them engaged, they have to see something. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're doing. We're going to the...
You have to understand your client.
Yeah.
And because I'm sure you do this with 55 plus clients. Like, you might have one person walk in who's like, I just want to make sure that I can get up.
Get off the floor. Yeah, my fall. I'll
But then you might have
no
somebody who's
today, baby.
okay, have this specific goal of wanting to like walk my daughter down the aisle. So I want to like fix my gait, or I want to, you know, work on, I don't know, playing with my grandchildren or something, you know? So it's like, I just feel like if you understand like what they want and give them a little bit, like it might not be exactly what they need, but like some people like really just have that specific one thing. I have it, you know, like it's like I really just like love kettlebells, you know? So if someone is training me and never uses kettlebells just because they're like, well, you had this goal of like, you know, like I actually did have a coach. We just ended our 6 months working together, but he was fantastic. And he knew what I liked and he included what I liked, but I didn't sign up for what I like. I signed up for what I need, you know, but he knew how to keep me engaged, you know, for the entire 6 months. That it like gave me the capacity that I wanted, but it also like included kettlebells, you know, and stuff I like.
Yeah, I agree with that. You have to throw in some of the things they like, and then more of the things they really need, because it's like one they've got.
And sometimes you can like shadow in both, you know,
like
or
finish it with that. So it's a finish on a high, or it gives them something to chase at the end. It's like, all right, like you said, like if I'm programming for Sav, we're gonna do some finishing kettlebell stuff, because I know she's gonna be excited for that. So she's gonna get through this. She's gonna get through this, and then like boom, I get to turn it on. This right here is where I'm gonna live. Right? Yeah. Now we're gonna finish on that. Yeah.
And just like in a like your marriage with your wives, I'm sure you have to compromise sometimes, or a lot. You know, like you're gonna disagree. And Gerell's panicking over there. But yeah, like it's the same deal. It's a relationship, and you have to you have to communicate. You have to, and like you said earlier, like if your client doesn't tell you anything, like, and they're just pouting all the time, it's like, okay, what's up? What's wrong? Why are you upset with me? What do you want? I'm like, well, this is too light, and I feel like well, why didn't you say so? Like,
I can't read your mind. That's what I
can't read your mind. Yeah.
And I got a few that like, if you would like, after 2 months, you're like, if you ever put the rower back on my programming, I'm gonna be really pissed.
Why did you not
hang on a
say
second.
anything?
The rower's fun. It can be fun. It's functional. You need a little bit more range of motion. You just have meniscus repair. You got cleared. And she's like, yeah, no. So we don't program it, but that's just.
Man, you're such a good guy. Next day, I'm like, you got to rule the rower.
Well, I tried.
You don't like on the rower to start off. All right, let's go.
I did that like a couple of days in a row, and she's like, yeah.
Like here and there, I would probably throw it in. That rower I know is like beneficial. You know what I mean? If I know, like, look, for real, like I get you, I feel you, but like here's, like you said, like here's why we're keeping the rower in the rotation. Like my knees are fine.
Educating
like my range of motion, my needs are fine. Like, so you hate it because it's hard for you to do. And if it's hard for you to do, we're not going to leave that.
Yeah. Right. But if
we're going to get
what you said is like, here's why it's good for you.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, when you just educate the person on why it's good for them,
you
and
still
why
get the eye roll. Yeah, it's like,
sure.
All right,
Like,
or
at least they're like,
one more time.
Yeah. Okay, that checks out, and you're the expert. Like, you know what you're talking. This is why I'm here. It's why I pay you. You know. And I've been told before, like, nobody cares about like knowing why they're. And I'm like, excuse me, I want to know why I'm doing everything I'm doing. Why wouldn't it be different for my clients? You know, like, I don't think it's a good idea for anyone to just walk in and be like, hey, you're the trainer, just make me do stuff and I'll get through it. It's like,
certain people like that aspect. Certain people like that aspect.
But
like if you have, I have a lot of A-type clients, and they're like, I think all day. I come to you so I don't have to think anymore.
That's fair,
right? And
but they still have to connect with the movement.
Yes, and so what I'll tell them, and I use this in my consultation. You can question me, you can't challenge me, right? So if you ask me, why do I have to do the rower? I can answer that question, right? If you tell me, don't bring the rower out here anymore. Then now that's challenging me and saying,
I'm gonna put that rower.
I'm gonna put the fucking rower. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put the rower back out here.
1,000 meters.
So question all you want, right? So I can always answer your questions, because some people do want to know, like,
because you have a reason.
Like, hey, how is this helping what I told you I wanted? Versus, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are two different.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at that point now, like you said, I am the expert, and here's why you are doing the rower some more.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean?
Well, and even if they are the type of client that's like, hey, I just want to check out for this hour. This is my hour to like not be around people because I work all day, I talk to people all day, whatever. Like, cool. But like, there's still going to be an intention for why we're doing what we're doing. You know, so you can't just like go through the motions and not like, you know, do it correctly, do it better, progress with it. Like, you're going to have to like connect with it, you know?
But we have to get into the Shift Your Intellect, brought to you by Shifted Supplements. So this is going to be a little different than the basket of debate. This is going to be factual. All right, so we all have a random fact that we're going to read out.
Okay.
And you can debate it if you want to, but it's supposed to be a fact. I don't know. I think I went, did I go last time? I'm not sure. I think I went last time. So
I can go first.
I'll start this party off.
Okay, yeah.
Stephen King. While Stephen King is renowned for his horror novels, he also wrote under the pseudonym, is that right? My pseudonym? Richard Bachman? Okay. He used this pen name to publish several novels to see if he could replicate his success without the fame attached to his name.
Oh, so he wrote a book under
Under Richard Bachman.
Interesting, I didn't know that.
Or Bachman. However you want to.
Well, we don't know if it was successful or not.
Right, we don't know.
We're going to have to Google that.
Yeah, we got to go find out what Richard wrote. So, yeah.
I didn't know that. I like Stephen King, but he's written so many books now that some of them are just not
repetitive. Yeah,
but he's got some really good ones, like The Shining.
He sells because, like he said, because of his name. He can write whatever, and it's it's written by Stephen King.
And
I'm gonna
Sav
buy
will
it.
buy it.
That's true. Brand awareness,
right? You gotta know, man.
You want to go, Aaron?
Oh, yeah, I'll go. So this is Elon Musk. While most people
guy.
know Elon Musk as the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, he also co-founded a company called Zip2 in 1996, which provided business directories and maps for newspapers. Compaq acquired Zip2 for nearly $300 million in 1999.
He what? For that much money?
Compaq acquired Zip2, what the company started, for nearly $300 million.
Jeez.
Zip2. Never heard of it.
Yeah, you guys probably never hear from me again, but I got $300 million.
Yeah, no. I won't even live in Tennessee. I won't probably live in the United States.
We'll be doing this podcast on my yacht. I'll fly Trina in on the helicopter.
Honestly, that is how I envision my future. Is
1%.
Everything
1%.
here is a beach. That's where I live. Yeah, I'm good with that. Okay, lastly, my girl. Angelina Jolie, in addition to her acting career and humanitarian work, Angelina Jolie holds a pilot's license and is qualified to fly single-engine airplanes and helicopters. It's kind of a turn-on. She purchased for her first plane.
that would get you going, Sam?
A little bit.
Single-engine plane.
I mean, Angelina Jolie, period.
Who knew?
She's such a badass. Tomb Raider. That's where it began. She purchased her
that's
first.
What you knew?
Yep, that's when I knew. Probably for real though. She purchased her first plane in 2004 after being inspired by her role as a pilot in the movie Sky Captain and The World of Tomorrow. It's love my role. I should just.
I'll go buy a plane tomorrow.
Buy a plane now.
I want to get my pilot's license.
I actually had considered that, being a pilot, but I had already gotten too deep into fitness. I mean, it's never too late.
Did you though?
It's never too late, but I don't know. I had a phase one time where I thought I was going to join the Army, and then I thought I was going to join the Navy and the Air Force, and then I was like, well,
I think it's
then I belong to the U.S. government. I don't know.
400 hours or something you have to get. I have a couple.
You can still get a pilot's license. Yeah. I don't know. I
thought I was going to the military too, Sav.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
When did you give up on that dream?
My mother.
Okay.
She talked me out of it.
Yeah, my mom did not like the idea of me going into the military.
She was like, "You're the only boy. I don't want." It was a whole thing, but I was going for I wanted.
I feel like you would have thrived. You would have climbed those ranks.
Yeah, but I wanted to be like a SEAL.
I can see you being a SEAL.
Goal.
Absolutely.
Not really, because I'm negative buoyant, so I don't.
Oh yeah, we talked about that one time.
So the SEAL thing wouldn't work for me.
Man, that's not fair though, because you can have the mindset for days, and then your body just sinks. That's just not fair.
You can't will yourself to float. Your body is like, no, I'm going to the bottom, buddy.
That's really not fair.
But seriously, that was I remember coming back and I was like, I think I'm going to join the because my uncle was in the Navy.
David Goggins a SEAL or was it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes.
He didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on another level.
He really is a different level.
Man, do you ever hear that guy talk?
Terry?
Yeah, I would love to talk with him.
David Goggins on.
Because of the way he talks.
Yeah, I mean, he's in Nashville. I'm sure it's in one of your circles.
Sure, he's like walking or running around the block somewhere.
Yeah, we probably can find.
I
We
feel like
drive
he
around long
roasts
enough.
me
We'll see
like
him
just
running.
for no reason.
I used to see him running in Brentwood.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like if you sat down with us,
I
he'd
was
be
like, I'm
like,
just gonna go run with him. But then I was like, I don't have the time to run for the next 20 hours because I know he's gonna be the guy like, oh, you want to run with me? And now it's like, oh, you want to run? Let's see. And then it's like, fuck, I'm about to die.
I don't know who
phone
this.
charged up
Right?
too.
Yeah. I was like, I'm about to die.
He did this whole
Put your
thing.
headphones up. We don't use headphones.
Oh my
He was
God,
like,
yeah.
I can't hear myself breathe, David.
He
I don't like that.
intentionally. There was, I think, some kid, like some teenager, was like. He was making fun of the fact that he wanted to work out with him. He's like, I want to work out with David Goggins. He's like, oh, you want to work out with me? Okay. And then like he has like 3 posts of where he made this kid throw up, and all he's doing is talking. He's like, see, you want to train with me? This is what happens.
Was it the
This
same?
kid over
I think
a
I saw
trash
that. Or it was
can.
like MMA guy. He was trying to train because he thought he could.
It might be that. It might be that.
Yeah, he was like,
Yeah, the guy who called him out was like, oh, you know, wrestling shape is different. And he was like, yeah, pull up then.
Yeah,
So
and
they
did like 8,000 pull-ups.
Yeah,
he's gonna kill you on the pull ups.
Oh God, I would never
then I'm outta here,
challenge.
Yeah.
Oh God, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like I know one
Unless
of the
I
things
wanted the popularity of being embarrassed.
One of the things I thought about doing was he does a 4-for-4, which is you run 4 miles every 4 hours for 24 hours.
Okay, that's kind of like the last man standing race.
Yeah, so you just keep running, and so it depends on what your 4 mile is. Like if you got your first 4 is gonna be cool 45. You're gonna take it slow, but you gotta think. Hour 6 round,
there's a race.
Like now it's like
formatted
okay,
like that.
now my 4 miles are turning because it's every 4 hours, so it's like an MRAP.
So they have a race
whatever your
called
rest
the
is,
Last Man Standing, where you run 4 miles every hour, and the last person who's able to. So you have to really time that correctly.
No.
So if you go, no, it's not 4. Is it? Yeah, it's 4 miles. So. I'm pretty sure that's close to it, but
is it North Carolina?
I think so. Something, or it might be in Tennessee. It's every hour
similar,
though.
Yeah, 24 hours.
So you can either go like really fast and have a lot of time to rest. It's like an EMOM, right? But it's like every hour on the hour.
Yeah.
Or you can pace it, and the people who do the best are always the older. Oh. They're always the older runners.
See, they're winners.
And they're always like giving themselves maybe 10 minutes to rest and recover. And they intentionally draw out the 4 miles throughout the hour. And so that's been the pattern. I haven't really followed it. I did once. I found out about it once. And I know other people who know a lot more about it, but
well,
really
Aaron,
crazy.
We like to leave our guests with the last word. So whatever it is that you want to leave our guests with, it can be fitness related, it can be life related, it can be whatever. Go Noles. It can be whatever you decide you want it to be. This is your time to connect with our people.
Yeah, so I would say it doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, obviously I work with a certain population, but there's no start date as far as when you can start your fitness journey. I mean, I've got 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and third graders. So no matter what you've been thrown at through life or injuries, tomorrow is a new day, so you can always start tomorrow. And you can start anything you want to tomorrow. It doesn't matter what it is for that. So there's no start or end date for some of those things. So be you. I mean, everybody's got their own goals and objectives, what they want to accomplish. So I would say on that point, just don't compare yourself to everybody and anybody, because it'll defeat you quicker than you would think. I say that from a business side of it too, because compare myself to a business down the road, I mean, it'll probably put me out of business, because all I'm worried about is what they're doing and how they're doing it and how I can, maybe pony up and be just like them. So be different and be you.
Yeah, I love that.
Love it.
Where can people find you before we sign off? Like on social media, website, anything?
Yeah. So website is premierperformancetrainer.com. I know that's really long, but that's what I've had for.
It's easier to remember.
Premier Performance TN on Instagram, and then I will say this for all the older people, even the younger. Some of the younger on Facebook. Premier Performance. I think it's LLC. It's got the beard logo. You'll find that. So that's anything we're doing. I don't say we don't do a lot of events, but I hope we'll change that soon for that. But right there in Brentwood on General George Patton.
Great location too. I've been.
Yeah, conveniently located between Costco and Urban Market.
All right, everything you need. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Aaron, and talking with us. And thanks, Gerell. Do you have anything, any last closing words?
Appreciate it.
No, thank you guys.
Cool.